Hi, and welcome to this reading. Today's reading, I'm picking up the energy of being locked out. I had a dream and I just want to pull some cards to see if I can get any more information on the meaning behind that dream. Today is actually May 7th. It is the day that the Cardinals go into the Sistine Chapel to vote the new Pope. Now, I watched a reading this morning and, well, not a reading, it was actually a video, just a story on YouTube, and they were actually talking about the fact that it's not as clear cut as people think, that it has to be, I'm not sure whether it has to be a unanimous decision, but the longest amount of time that it's ever taken to vote in a pope is 131 days. And I didn't even look up how many cardinals go in there. I kind of didn't want too much information to taint the information coming through. So as I said, it is May 7th today. It is also on the Hebrew calendar. It is the 17th day of the second month, which is the day that Adam and Eve were locked out of the Garden of Eden. They were locked out of the western gate of the Garden of Eden. And it was also the day, and you can go back and see it in biblical text, it's also the day, the 17th day of the second month. It's also the day that Noah was locked in to the ark. And then 7 days later, the flood began. So I've done a pre-shuffle. These were the cards that came out. I've got the World card. That's number 21. That's the end of a cycle. That's Saturn. Saturn is our karmic teacher, collectively our karmic teacher. And then I got the card Trapped. So when you get the World card, it's the end of a cycle. You get a new beginning. Locked out, meaning you've finished the cycle, you can start again. But locked in would be trapped. Are you locked out or locked in? And I've been hearing this song. It's a Crowded House song. You may not be familiar with it. And it says, and I've been locked out and I've been locked in. So let me give you some information on the dream that I had. It was a couple of nights ago. And I was standing with a couple of people at the back of the Sistine Chapel in Rome, which is where the cardinals get locked in, completely locked in, armed, barricaded in to vote for the new Pope. But in my dream, I was standing there with a couple of people and we were looking over at this door that was at the back of the Sistine Chapel. Now, I don't know if there's that door there. This whole back section of the Sistine Chapel was all stained glass windows. And underneath were these two kind of push-pull open doors that were made of stained glass, reds and yellows, and there might be some symbolism in the colours. And as we looked over, we knew that the cardinals were in there voting, but there was a breeze, and the two doors that were like this, one was kind of just blowing open and shut in the breeze. And I was trying to work out in my dream if somebody had gone in or if somebody had gone out. Now, when you think about that particular vote, the push and pull, the power of somebody in that role as the Pope in a world where bribes and scandal and every attempt is made by the devil to control a situation to their narrative. Listen to those birds. It's distracting. The birds are beautiful, but they're distracting. Somebody's either trying to get messages in or messages out. Because in the dream, as I said, I couldn't work out whether the door was open, as in it was open so somebody had gone in, or whether it was open because somebody had come out. And you see that quite often in the storyline of a movie. It doesn't actually show the person coming out, but it just shows the door ajar a little bit. And so it plants that seed of doubt. The world is watching. trapped inside? Who are they trapped inside with? And whose agenda is being pushed internally or externally? So if you're new to my channel, welcome. If you are returning, welcome back. A bit about me first. I'm an intuitive tarot reader. I pick up on energy prior to a reading. Oftentimes, if I have a dream, like I've done, I will come and pull some cards to see if I can get a bit more energy on it, get a bit more information on it. All of my readings are timeless. Whenever you stumble across it, you are meant to find it. Obviously, I'm talking about something that's literally happening today. But the energy that I'm picking up on is always a metaphor. It's symbolic of energy that's in the collective. The collective energy is we are at the end of a cycle. Something new is beginning. And we're talking about the foundations of what's being laid. Now, Pluto is currently retrograde in Aquarius. So it's okay. We want some revolutionary change because that's Pluto and Aquarius. We want some revolutionary change, but we just need to make sure that we're not laying down the foundations of our past misjudgments, our past error in ways. And of course, the devil wants to get in. So the devil wants you to be stuck in the old. I was also thinking when I was just doing my pre-shuffle for the reading, the Pope who just passed away, Pope Francis, now he was 88. So he would have been at the end of his third Saturn return. A Saturn return happens 28, 29 years. Basically, it's where Saturn started in your birth chart on the day that you were born, and it takes 28 years, 28, 29 years for it to get back to that same spot. So as an individual, your Saturn then, or you go through all of the different lessons of all the different zodiac signs up until the point where you're 28, 29. And then that happens again at 56, 58. And then it happens again in your mid-80s. The end of a cycle. What I was thinking about was the interesting fact that he took a vow of poverty. Now, I don't know whether he took that when he became Pope or whether he'd already taken that when he was a bishop or a cardinal or, you know, whatever he was. I think he was Brazilian. But if you take a vow of poverty, the first thing I thought of was you couldn't be bribed, because he came with nothing to the papal office and he left with nothing. So anything that was given to him would have been really, really obvious. Very, very interesting. The World, 21, Saturn, and Trapped. Okay, let's get an angel card. Let's see what the energy, what angel is watching over this particular. Do you want to come out? Metatron. Whatever's happening at this particular point in our collective existence. And number 8. Delivers divine blessings against evil. That's the Ace of Pentacles. That's a new beginning. It's a gift from God, but it's a gift from God that's based on slow, steady, stable energy. And we could be talking about here what he actually built during his tenure. What did he actually build? Or what did he tear down? Because at the end of the day, there are secrets everywhere, especially in the Catholic Church. And I don't want to speak poorly of him. But interesting. Now we have Metatron. Metatron is the celestial scribe. This angel writes in the book of life. It would be silly to think that we weren't going to get some sort of card like that, given the divine role that the Pope has. I mean, 35% of the world are Christian, are Catholic. So he has a massive audience, a massive say, but in turn, it's a double-edged sword. Because with that much voice and power, yeah, interesting. Very, very interesting. So we know that Metatron aligns with the Wheel of Fortune, which is 777, which is change. The fact that the Pope passes away in the first year of a 20-year Pluto and Aquarius transit. Now, Pluto and Aquarius is revolutionary change. Something needed to happen in the Catholic Church. It doesn't mean that it needed a shake-up. Potentially it does, because there's people leaving the church in droves. But it's about Pluto and Aquarius gives the energy for that change. It happens every 250 years. Think of the French Revolution, the American Revolution. It happened during the time when Henry VIII changed the religion of England from Catholicism to the Church of England. Pluto and Aquarius was actually also a time when Christianity, it was a 20-year period where Christianity was actually legalized by Constantine, who was the Roman, and the Pope lives in Rome, who was the Roman emperor, because it had previously been illegal. And if we look at the Pope, he wears that funny hat on his head, looks like a fish, like a fish's head. The secret symbol of Christianity, before it was legalized, somebody would draw one half of a fish and then the other person would draw the other half. And it was a symbol of Christianity, because if you were found out, obviously there was serious ramifications. The celestial scribe. Okay, so this angel delivers divine blessings against evil. Potentially an angel that Pope Francis had with him, maybe somebody that's kind of hanging around the Sistine Chapel at the moment, making sure that nothing, and as I said, this could be playing out in your life at the moment. Is there a change that's wanting to be made? It could be in a workplace, it could be in a family, it could be, and there's somebody who doesn't want that change made, or somebody who wants to run the dialogue of that change for their own benefit. Well, how do they do that? I mean, from a papal perspective, it would be somebody who would be making donations to the church, or doing things that appear good but actually have a secret agenda. Soul guardian for those born 2:20 a.m. to 2:40 a.m. Moral guardian for those born the 27th of March, the 7th of June. The 7th of June is the day before Pentecost. The 18th of August, the 29th of October, and the 9th of January. Physical guardian for those born the 24th to the 28th of April. The Ace of Pentacles. So it's a divine blessing that's protected by this angel. A new beginning that's protected by this angel. Interesting. Okay, let's get 3 of Pentacles. And it's about how we build the new, because the 3 of Pentacles is Mars in Capricorn. Okay, let's get an energy of the collective in regards to this door open, door shut. Knight of Wands. That's what it was. It was the door was just kind of swinging in, out. Whatever it is, it's crafty energy. It doesn't want to be seen, like a ghost in the night. The 3D energy. 4 of Cups. And the Soul. The Page of Swords. That's the Sun in Gemini. The 4 of Cups is the Moon in Cancer. When I think of the Moon in Cancer, I think of Cancer always is mother energy for me. Is it infiltrating something through the women? Through the staff? This is the message from the man upstairs. The 10 of Wands. Heavy burdens. Truth. New horizons. Heavy burdens, truth, new horizons. Mars in Aquarius. Saturn in Sagittarius, and the Sun in Aries. You know what I just got? So we've got the end of a cycle here. We've got the end of a cycle here. We've got Metatron in the Book of Life. Something that's been built. It's the end. It's new beginnings. The message from the man upstairs is that the burdens are too heavy within things that have happened within the church. People are walking away. They're looking for something new. Trapped in old world thinking. And I don't know if you watched any of the ceremony when he, like any of his funeral, like some of the symbolism, and it was like it reminded me of that movie Eyes Wide Shut. It was just very disconnected. The symbolism, the hats that they were wearing, and I know that there's this protocol and pomp and ceremony and stuff, but with people already moving away, it was quite polarizing. And actually on the way home, I saw a big ad on the side of the road on one of those digital billboards, and it was for the new Polestar, which is an electric vehicle. So when you think about it, it's a new way of driving. I mean, obviously they've been around for a while, but it's a new way of driving. It's a new way of thinking. The old is, we're trapped. The old is too stuffy. If the church is actually going to grow, to build, it's out with the old and in with the new. The outcome. Otherwise, people are going to leave. That's new horizons. Six of Pentacles. Weighing things up. Do I align with this anymore? And I can tell you for myself, I mean, I'm Catholic. I don't plan on changing religions. I'm perfectly happy. But my faith isn't found in a church. It's found in personal prayer. It's found in reading the passages of the Bible that I'm guided to read. And I go back to that door in my dream. So is somebody or something or some entity trying to manipulate the papal vote to keep people away, put somebody in power who just drives anybody that's left away for their own agenda? Interesting. The other thing that I got was I was getting identity theft. So one of the major contenders, and I don't know whether he'll become Pope or not, but one of the major contenders for Pope is the Filipino Cardinal. Now, if you know anything about Filipinos, they are the most religious people on the planet. And I can hear my mother-in-law, who's Filipino, Sus Maria Sep, which is Jesus Maria Joseph, in their broken English. Sus Maria Sep. Very, very, very faithful country. But the irony is there that during the 1500s, right about the time when Michelangelo was actually painting the story of Genesis on the ceiling of the Sistine Chapel, Spain, who was Spanish at the time, of course they were, Spain, who was Catholic at the time, actually invaded the Philippines and made all of the indigenous people, they stole their names. Identity theft. They stole their names. They basically told them that they had to change their names to religious names. So that is why Filipinos have predominantly religious surnames. Now, the people that didn't change their names were the people that paid off the Spanish to keep their name, their ancestral name, but literally wiped out the entire ancestral identity of a nation. It's got the number 8 here. And turn it on the side. It's infinity. 8 itself is the infinity sign. It's a karmic loop. What goes around comes around. Now that happened in the mid-1500s. So we're looking at 500 years. 2 Pluto and Aquarius transits. As I said, they're 248, 250 years long. Karmic retribution if he comes back, if he is given that position. You stole, and I've been getting that, thou shalt not steal. You stole our ancestral family names in the name of the church. And who has the last laugh if a Filipino cardinal then gets put on, or gets put in the seat of highest office? Because at the end of the day, who they were as people and what their name stood for, which is who you are, wasn't good enough. It had to be changed in order for them to have value. Well, now, that'd be really interesting if that happens. The world at the end of a karmic cycle. Metatron writes in the Book of Life, it's almost like, yeah, what goes around comes around. Death and rebirth, a new beginning. That's the energy we're sitting in at the moment. The death card is Scorpio and Pluto. It's number 13. And the Two of Wands, which is Mars and Aries. And I want to say, you know, I'm talking about Filipinos here, but, you know, there's this kind of feeling, and I pick up on it, obviously. My husband's Filipino. My children are half Filipino, but this is kind of feeling that some cultures are not as valuable as other cultures. Actually, I've just realized why this reading is about somebody's value. How God determines your value, how the divine determines your value, and your value isn't whether you are in a church or not. Your value is in what you do for your community and how you hold yourself within your own personal divinity. And if to use the Filipinos as an example, you will see them working in the eateries and shopping centres. They're the cleaners, they are the nurses, they do all the jobs that everybody thinks, not necessarily nurses, but more the cleaning roles, that sort of thing. All of the jobs that people think are beneath them. Oh, you wouldn't catch me dead doing that, but the Filipinos do it. And I remember years ago, I had a friend who worked on cruise ships, and the majority of the staff were Filipino, and they would get their pay at the end of working 6 months on the boat, and they would send it all home to their family. So family focused and genuine and kind and giving to somebody else and hard working, taking on the roles that other people don't want to do. And you can look at, for example, you know, the Palestinian people, their faith, their divinity, their connection with God, even while their homes are being blown up, even while they're being starved. Pope Francis saw that. And in fact, his final request was that his Pope-mobile was donated to the children in Palestine to be used as a mobile clinic. Excuse my puppy barking in the background. Somebody without an agenda. Interesting. Okay, let's have a look at this. Somebody that you see as not worthy, or collectively that we see as not worthy to be in that role, when in actual fact, spiritually, they are what God sees as the Ten of Pentacles. The Queen of Pentacles. Tell you what, Filipino women are hardworking women. And I just heard pride, and pride in what they do. Okay. The Page of Swords, which is the Sun in Gemini. I always think Gemini for me is very much, the Eight of Pentacles, is very much about, especially here, delivers against evil. Being locked in or being locked out. The Ace of Pentacles again. delivers divine blessings against evil. This is what's happening in the soul. I just heard everybody's got a price. Everybody's got a price. And I've got that song, It's Not About the Money, Money. It's from Pitch Perfect. It's not about the money, money, money. I'll pop that song in the description. That's the soul here. Sold their soul to the devil. Sold their soul to the devil for the right price. Ace of Pentacles. Three of Wands and the Three of Wands. The Sun in Aries. This is the message from the man upstairs and the Ace of Cups. Wow, we've got the Ace of Wands, the Ace of Pentacles, the Ace of Pentacles, the Ace of Cups, the Wheel of Fortune, the Death card, Fomalhaut, which is Gabriel, the Watcher of the South, the Mouth of the Fish, it's Jonah in the Whale, the Alpha Star of the Southern Fish, mysticism, idealism, and prophecy. I've got things up on my wall that I'm just looking at. It's the Gate of Man. It's the Gate of Man that the devil's going to get into. The Gate of Man lies in Taurus. Now, May is Taurus season. The Gate of Man is watched over by the Persian royal star Aldebaran, looked over by Archangel Michael. Archangel Michael wields the sword of truth. He's the watcher of the east, the eye of the celestial bull. And you think about a bull, it's a sacrifice. And he governs power, leadership, and integrity. Keeping balance. The sun, the illumination. The King of Pentacles and the Two of Cups. Okay. The Two of Cups is a contract card. It's a contract card that you have with the man upstairs and with somebody else. The King of Pentacles is somebody who is solid and stable, but the King of Pentacles in unbalanced energy, we got balance here. Unbalanced energy is somebody who makes, I just heard political decisions based on the contracts that they have. Evil. Because in order to get, the moon, it's hidden. In order to get the vote through, if you've watched that movie Conclave, I don't know whether it's showing at the movies anymore, but it was basically about how the papal vote happens when somebody passes away. The Pope's room gets sealed up, and then literally all the cardinals go into the Sistine Chapel, and they stay in there and they vote. Now, in that movie, I think they voted 3 times over a couple of days, but each time in between the votes there was all this kind of infighting and arguing and realigning and aligning and, you know, jumping ship to, okay, well, I'm voting for this guy this day, well, now things have changed, now we're going to vote for this guy. It's like it's a hornet's nest. It's not about the money, money, money. What is that song? Everybody, why so serious? And as I said in the beginning, Pope Francis, he took a vow of poverty. To me, that's about not being bought. The inability to be bought. Let's get a moon. Metatron. My candle's gone out. Oh, that's a sign. The light of Christ has gone out. New moon in Gemini, brace yourself. Cosmic solutions are en route. Okay, I really do want to get one of these. This is my Nodes of Destiny deck. The spiritual lesson that is being learned. South Node in Cancer. South Node in Cancer, you rock the empathy and compassion game from day one. Your heart beats for family and your roots, making cozy home vibes your jam. It's like your spiritual snuggle blanket, the cozy spot where growth begins by letting go. Empathy and compassion, your beat. So the South Node is what you are releasing. Is that about the outgoing Pope? Because he took a vow of poverty, which means he didn't have cozy South Node. Your South Node is like the blast from the past, packed with old vibes, emotions, and connections from your previous lives. It's the cosmic energy we're learning to bid farewell to in this lifetime, breaking free from the karma of yesteryears. Think of it as our cozy spiritual nook that we must bid adieu to in order to blossom into our best selves. Now, that could be collective energy in the fact that what we know, the cycle has ended. What we know within the realms of how the Catholic Church is currently functioning is coming to an end. And I know that there is a prophecy that basically said there's only one more Pope. Letters and numbers in here. Let's see what comes out. It does make a little bit of noise. So if you've got hearing sensitivity, just turn your volume down. Even going back to that identity theft, that Philippines identity theft. I mean, there's a big tie-in there with a country coming in or a group of people coming in and settling another country and forcing big change on the people. And these Pluto and Aquarius transits actually bring up things from the past that need to be re-looked at, readdressed, or addressed, simply addressed, you know. We've got an E, education, an E and a 1, a D and a 2, an S and a 1, a Y and a 4, an M and a 3, a T and a 1, a G and a 2, a C and a 3, a Q and a 10. I don't even know his name, the Filipino guy. A H and a 4. I know there's an Italian guy with the name of Peter, an X and an 8, an F and a 4, a Z, that's the end, and a 10, a J and an 8, a K and a 5, and an O and a 1. And as I said, going back to that identity theft, even if the Filipino guy gets into the papal office, even if he becomes Pope, he then chooses a name. So it's almost this bartering of, in order to get something, you have to give something up. What is that? Like, don't you just keep the name that God gave you? It's very strange. Okay, let's get 3 final cards. As I said, though, this could be playing out within connections that you have. This storyline of what's currently happening is just showing the Emperor. Trapped. The end of a cycle. The end of a cycle where you're either trapped somewhere with an Emperor, an out of balance Emperor energy, or so locked in with an out of balance Emperor energy, or you are being released from and are able to step into your own Emperor energy. What have we got here? Again, the 3 of Wands, new horizons. And on the bottom, the King of Pentacles. Stability, which is what anybody wants, right? I feel like I need more cards. Just one more on this door. This door that was open. Anything else you can tell us about this door? It depends how you view it. Judgment. It depends how you view it. Are you locked out or are you locked in? Very cool. That's Pluto and Aquarius. That's the Judgment card. Now, the painting, the Judgment, the final Judgment, is actually on the back wall behind the altar, behind the sacrifice. The altar is where you make a sacrifice. As I said, it's May, which is the celestial bull. Actually, a video came up this morning about they've got 5 red heifers in Israel, and they will sacrifice one of them to build the new temple. But to build the new temple, they have to pull down Al-Aqsa Mosque, which has been there for 1,500 years, on top of the ruins from the destructions by the Romans of the second temple. Interesting, because that would then be, that temple, the second temple, was destroyed in 70 AD. So we are currently 2025, 2,000 years later. Again, that 8. It's like this big loop, right? So the Romans destroy the Jewish temple. The Jewish people then disperse. 500 years later, Islam is birthed on these same Abrahamic faiths. Christianity, Judaism, and Islam all worship the one God, just in different ways. But they all believe in the book of Genesis, Noah, the prophets, Moses, all of it. It's all the same. So the Romans destroy the Jewish temple, but at the time the Romans aren't Christian, because Christianity is still illegal. Islam is birthed 500 years later, and now 1,500 years later, the Jews are about to destroy the Islamic temple. And then the whole cycle starts over again. That's where I'm going to leave it. I've been locked out, I've been locked in. I'll pop those songs in the description box. If you call to any of my tarot or oracle decks, the links to those can also be found in the description box. If this reading resonated with you, please give it a like. It will be interesting to see how long this vote takes, and who is the new Pope, and how they got there, and if anything is actually going to come out. Very interesting. Thanks again, and I will see you in another reading.